What's poppin'? It's Mello, back at you with another video, and today we're getting straight to it. We're getting straight to the sauce. The Meek Mill Flamerz beat. We're gonna go over this remake that I did of the beat. We're mainly here to highlight the drum patterns and stuff like that and go over some of the things going on with the drums. This remake wasn't made with the intention of putting out for people to rap over. This is mainly just to study the beat and the drums. So I'm gonna say before I play this, brace yourself. It's not the most accurate when it comes to the sound selection of the melodic instruments, more accurate on the drum end. But before we get started, please put a like on the video, help your boy out. Let's get into it. Went through the trouble of laying out the melody, so might as well go over it anyway. We're gonna start off with the synth brass. So this is just the same notes layered. Let's listen to it. There is an arpeggio synth pluck or something along those lines on the actual beat. It's under everything. You can't really hear it when everything's going on, but when the whole beat drops in the intro and around the end, you hear the arpeggio going. Now let's play both of those at the same time just so you can hear it. All right, so that's the melody, and that's all the melody is really composed of. Just a sustaining horn melody with an arpeggio under it in a lower octave. Now, let's get to the drums, because the thing that really makes this track, for the most part, is how crazy the drums go. So we're gonna break down what makes these drums so crazy. So let's focus on the hats first. The hat is a basic rhythm, a basic feel each two steps rhythm. And the tempo we're working at is 174. Very simple, nothing complex. It just holds the rhythm. Now you have one open hat hitting at the top of every 2 bars, or in this case, just to keep it uncomplicated for the people who don't understand, you have it hitting on the 1 pattern, and you also have it hitting on the 5 pattern. Now, if we look at the second open hat, you have those hitting in the same space in each pattern. All of that is basically the canvas that keeps the rhythm steady. We're going to get into the stuff that makes it crazy now, which is the 808 pattern and the snare roll pattern. Let's break down this 808 pattern. Let's listen to the pattern right now. We're going to erase all the rolls and everything that's crazy, even this triplet right here, and just listen to the foundation of this 808 pattern first. Let's listen to it. Wow. Now, if you remember in the trap drum patterns video that I did, I highlighted the hot spots as far as the most common places that the drums are used, you know, and just to highlight those again, you got this spot, and this spot on trap beats. Let's just highlight this, put a metronome on it, and listen to it so you can get the gist of that if you haven't watched that video. When it comes to trap beats, those are the most common hotspots for the kick or the 808. So where those land in this drum pattern, I have marked those, and they land in pretty much a lot of places throughout each pattern. So let's listen to it very quickly. Now, the next thing I want to highlight is the second most common places that I discussed in the trap drum patterns video. We're going to highlight this right here and this right here, because if you listen to this, this is a drum pattern that I highlighted in that video. Let's listen to it. Very common, like I mentioned. So you have these two spots right here that I just labeled blue. With those two, those are spots that you almost never see used. They're right next to a hot spot. Let's listen to that. But instead of using a hot spot, they use a spot right next to it. Gives it a good bounce because it happens on an off beat, happens on an off step. They only do that for one pattern, the first pattern in each 2-bar loop. What we're looking at is a 4-bar set for the drums and everything. You see the foundation. This pattern is the same twice. But when it comes to this and this, these two patterns are where things begin to vary. And that's one thing you can think about when you're trying to make your drums interesting. Don't have them repeat the same pattern each bar. Let's listen to it again. So all of that is basic. That's a basic 808 pattern. Let's get to the chops, which is what really makes this crazy. So we're going to go over the chops individually. We're going to go over this part first. Basically a bar ender. Before we get to the notes, let's go over how to do that as far as that chop. So there are two ways you can do that chop really quick. You can go to 1/3 beat and just plug it in. You click the horseshoe, boom, you could do that. We're going to go back to main. But another thing you could do is drag this out as far as a regular note, highlight it, go to chop, go to the folder, you know, in the quantization/snap folder, you want to click 6-beat. Boom. We got a triplet right there just by doing that. Look at it. You see it. You see it. Good. You want to make sure root notes is clicked off. It's not highlighted. So you can change the notes and rearrange them how you want. Now, as far as that, all it is a triplet at the end of the bar. Very small triplet. Now, as far as the notes that it's hitting, let's just go over that really quick. I'm not going to go deep on this, but as far as the note it hits, you notice that the bass note throughout it is a D sharp. So when we go all the way up, an octave up, first note it hits is D sharp, finds two other notes that works. Now, if you watch my chord video, because again, all this is coming together with everything that I've taught you and stuff like that, you know, it hits the 5th note in the scale at the end. Let's listen to this chop very quickly. This is good because it's an 808 roll or an 808 chop that goes right into a hot spot. So that's very good. It's very unorthodox, not something you see a lot. This part right here, because you thought they was chopping it up crazy, but then we get to this here. Like, what is going on? This is right in the middle of a bar. You should know how to do that chop. Same thing, if we do the 1/3, you could just do that right there. That's something that, again, is very unorthodox. And you could probably take that and implement it into a beat you make in the future. This right here is nothing to sneeze at. It's real basic. But that last bar, this whole last bar, goes crazy. And it goes crazy every 4 bars. It's nuts. We broke it down. Now let's just break down this snare roll really quickly. It's a repeating 2-bar pattern. Let's listen to it. That right there, very common. You should know what that is. And this right here is the same exact thing as this. That's all it is. So you got the snare hitting right here. You see that? And you got the snare roll right before that pattern. You may have gotten some other takeaways from it, but these are the takeaways you should have gotten from this video. You know, as far as most of the drums, you want to have certain things set as placeholders, you know, to keep the rhythm steady, to keep the bounce steady. Try some patterns that are unorthodox or in unorthodox places. When it comes to the beat spazzing and stuff like that, it's good to end bars with that type of stuff, or have it happen in the second half of a bar if it's gonna be all crazy and stuff. I hope you got some value out of this video. Please subscribe, helps your boy out. I'll see y'all another day, somehow, some way. I'm out.